Alright guys, welcome back to Crunch Time, the show you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. Today we have a nice 10-game slate here. Got some MLB action from yesterday to go over, so I'm pretty excited for that. Got some success posts to go through, so we'll get into that. But first, Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Got a new light set up. I don't know if you can tell. Does it look a bit different to you? Look a bit brighter?
Yeah, it looks fake. You look very different for some reason.
What? Is it too bright?
You don't you don't look like yourself.
Oh my
You look
god.
like you got plastic surgery.
Oh really? Maybe it's too bright.
I,
I don't
I don't
know.
know why. It's probably the shadow. I think you have like shadows
Wow,
coming
now
down on your face.
maybe I did. um, I don't know. I'll play around with it, but I think it'll be better. It's not too sunny outside, but usually I think it's more noticeable when it's sunnier that it's like dark on one side. But I think it'll be better. Hopefully that plastic surgery look goes away. Yeah, let's go into some of the success here. First up, got the hug. Actually, first of all, how did MLB do yesterday, Chris? It was the first season opener there. How did that go?
Like I said yesterday, I didn't play MLB. I only played the night slate, but the night slate went well. Yeah, I didn't play the early slate.
Gotcha. Did you watch any of the games?
Just on the show yesterday, I watched a few games, nothing else.
Got it. Yeah, let's get into it though. We got the hug here. $5, $11 in the quarter jukebox. Yeah, solid results there. Some tournament action. Have Nick here. What did he say? 45 of this was tickets. I won, so it was better than it looks. So yeah, guess you got to take that into account. Got some tickets as well, so broke even on top of that. So tickets plus some money, always good stuff when you have that. Got Tiger Blood here. What did he do? MLB second place here, $8 at 70. That's pretty good. That's a solid one. Wonder how close he was to first place there. Both of these contests. Love to see that. Yeah, what else do we got? We got Pricky here. What did he do? 82, 205. That's awesome. Good results there. This is probably cash contests there. Got Chris here. NBA action on DK, 1400 into almost 3K. So that's good. Did you send me the contest, Chris? We can go into DraftKings after this, maybe.
Yeah, I'll send it now.
Send it in I don't know, where are you sending it? Slack or Discord?
Up to you.
Up to you. Send it in Discord, I guess. Yeah, we got Mike here, 123, 210 on DK, NBA action, solid stuff there. Dakota, 143, almost 300. MLB action. Oh, that's just MLB action. That's pretty solid stuff. Aiden's excited about MLB. More slates for him to play, so it's probably like another, I don't know how many extra slates he gets now with MLB running. It's got to be like at least 8.
Yeah.
So he's got like 8 more slates to play with every day now. So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, you can see it here, every single slate, every single sport. So he does it all. Let's click that one. Solid results there. Got Mike here. This was NBA double up. I don't know if he was shark hunting, but he was saying, what did he say in the NBA chat? He's like up there with the big dogs, with the sharks. But yeah, first place here. Beat some of these guys that you'd like to go over, Chris, McLovin, BK, Ryder. So that's awesome. Love to see that. More Pricky here, 223, 500. It's a good day yesterday, hey, for a lot of crunchers. NBA here on DraftKings. More NBA on DraftKings from Turn and Burn. Solid stuff there. It's a good one, Chris. You added this Pepe. I like it. Let's go over your DraftKings first. Let me load that up. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, what happened yesterday, Chris? Let's get into it. Or you won here on DraftKings, so this was good.
Yeah, yesterday was, similar to that Michael Carter Williams thing. We had the same thing yesterday with Paul George. He was out, and then for some reason he got ruled back in. So that was just awful. it just means if you're playing guys that benefit from Paul George being out, you're just way behind everyone else who didn't play those guys. So that was awful yesterday. Not saying it's the reason I lost on FanDuel, but it's kind of frustrating when that happens. But here on DK, I ended up winning. Kawhi did well, but I had Marcus Morris on FanDuel. That's why I'm saying that. But Kawhi did well here. He was my 17% owned guy, 52. So that was pretty good. Had these Pelicans guys who were going to be all over again today. So it's going to be super chalky here again once. We'll probably get some more news as well, but I mean, even right now it's super chalky. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I don't like the chalky slates much, but I mean, hopefully we have some success.
Yeah, Value City. Are you going to play a bit lighter or same as always on this chalky slate? I always ask these types of questions, like, I don't know, I guess like DFS bankroll management questions. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's also useful, kind of like the meta of DFS. But yeah, how do you approach that?
I just play the same way.
Same way. Would you recommend or like advise, like if you had a smaller bankroll, to play a bit lighter on the super chalky slates, or just do the same thing?
No, I'll just do the same thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this is FanDuel. Didn't cash here. But yeah, let's get into it. What happened here?
Yeah, so it's pretty much what I was saying. Like if I X'd out Kawhi and Marcus Morris thinking that Paul George was playing, I would have a completely different build. I would have had Jimmy Butler here, probably Hartenstein instead of Marcus Morris. Probably would have gotten off of Wiseman to someone like Dwight or Steven Adams. So I mean, it sucks that news happened that way. I think even if Paul George ended up sitting, I still would have ended up losing. But it's still frustrating because I mean, other people played it one way and it kind of went in that favor, and then I was stuck on these Clippers guys. But I mean, it happens sometimes. Can't really do anything about it. Wiseman, probably done playing him.
For the
5
year?
points here.
Done playing him for the year?
Well, I mean, the algorithms thought that he was going to be a good play because they priced him up quite a bit for today's slate. He was like 4K yesterday. Today's around 5K. And obviously pricing comes out right when the slate locks. So, I mean, he got 5 points. He just looks awful. I keep playing him. Whenever I don't play him, he has good games. Whenever I play him, he has bad games. But I mean, that's just how it goes. And yeah, those 3 spots were pretty much the decisions here with Kawhi, Marcus Morris, and Wiseman.
Yeah, how many minutes did he get, Wiseman?
Probably around 20.
Jeez. You think you could have produced more if you were on the court for 20 minutes?
No way.
No, you couldn't have got like a few rebounds, like lucky bounces your way? No?
Maybe 1, but this guy got 4 rebounds, so
Yeah,
I would have been behind.
you got to box out, Chris. Maybe a pass to like Steph Curry, assist. A few assists, a few rebounds. No turnovers. You could do it.
They would probably steal away my passes.
Huh?
They would probably steal my passes
Why?
because they're that good.
Oh, even your passes. Jeez. That's funny. Should we go over anyone on either site before we go into the slate, Chris?
Yeah, same as always. Let's just go over the entire lobby.
Okay, let's do DK then first. Tell me who you want to open up here.
Yeah, let's look at that second place team. Let's see the differences there. So this one had, Capella and DeRozan here. This game went into... Can you actually open up another one? I'm not sure if DeRozan is in all of these. I guess he is. So, this game went into double OT. Capella and DeRozan here. So they're both on fire with that double OT, 10 extra minutes for them. I think I had a 2v2 with those guys, like Kawhi and someone else. And then this team had Capella and DeRozan, obviously. Obviously, that double OT went their way. But, I mean, Capella was a great play. Another great play again tonight here against the Pelicans. So, yeah, I like this side. Don't love DeMar, but, I mean, definitely got there at 55.
Yeah, we talked about Capella yesterday, didn't we? A bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game from him. Did the double OT? I mean, clearly must have helped. But do you know what he was at if it didn't go into OT?
No, I don't know what he was at, but I mean that's 10 extra minutes, so probably around like 45 before that, maybe 50.
Yeah, Which is still pretty good actually for his price tag. Yeah, tell me where else you want to stop here. Looks like a train at 14.
Yeah, we can look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one had Kyrie. Oh yeah, I didn't have Kyrie. He was 80% here. I mean, if I didn't have Kawhi, I probably would have had Kyrie, but obviously that Paul George news came out after that game locked. So yeah, that was pretty bad there. This team also had Iwundu, who were on a lot today, and Capella as well. Not sure the 3v3 exactly, but similar core.
Got it. Anything else? 28th place, some sort of train here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trains here. So let's see. This one had Hartenstein instead of Kyra Lewis. This one had Bogey, who went into double OT. Kyrie. So yeah, I like this team as well.
Yep. And then another one for yeah. There's quite a few trains. Or is this the? It's a cruncher here, Scotty.
Yeah, and Yankee Blue. So this was the optimal. It had Hartenstein, 3.7K. He did better than Kyra Lewis. So yeah, by a few points.
Yeah. Let's go over FanDuel. Got Justin here saying it's a big slate. It is. So we gotta go a bit faster here. So I think that's enough DK. Let's go over some FanDuel ones. Tell me where you want to stop here, starting from the first page.
Yeah, so there's a big train here at 340. I think it was the 3v3 that I talked about with Jimmy Butler instead of Kawhi, Hartenstein instead of Morris, and then that got you 1,100 more to spend up to Dwight Howard. So yeah, this is probably what I would have done if I thought that Paul George was going to be in, but obviously thought he was out. So I wanted those two Clippers. Didn't work out, but thought it was the right play.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else here? Oh, that's a big train here actually. 18th.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. Anyone else here? I think there's 158 here. No, nothing.
No, keep going. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think like it was pretty chalky. Today's going to be exactly the same. We've had a bunch of these chalky slates in a row now. Bunch of injury news. Prices are still low, so we're gonna get these like 95 percenters once again, which is kind of annoying, but
Yep.
it is what it is.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's go over the chat quickly. I got Brent in here. It says it's value season today. Ghosty's asking if we're going to get an MLB core. I guess that's for you, Chris. Are we getting an MLB core today?
Just play the Dodgers if you want a core. That's what I would say with that.
Okay. Fully Driven commenting on our music says feel like Eminem's about to rap to it. Our intro. Could you see it?
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. Maybe we can get you to rap over it, Chris, one of these days in the intro.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, what's more likely to happen, that or your TikTok dance?
Play the TikTok.
Yeah. You owe the people the TikTok dance though. Rana says Wiseman got 5, laughing at that. Yeah, that's rough. Got Cornelius in here. One message retracted, didn't see what it said. Justin said, big slate, let's go. Go, go, go. We'll get into it now. Cornelius says, thanks for the content, guys. Really appreciate it. Then question, he says, Capella and Giannis locks tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think on FanDuel they are. DK, I don't think you need Capella as a lock there. Like, you have Cat, who's pretty cheap, in my opinion, easy to fit, and then you have all these other Pelicans who are even cheaper on DK, so that's why I say it's easier to fit in Cat as another spend up. But yeah, I love Capella on both sides. I love him, just not really on him on DraftKings right now. And then Giannis, I love him. He's my favorite spend up on both sides.
Yep. Let's get into it, Chris. So, yeah, 10 games here. Any favorite news right off the bat? Obviously, I feel like the Pelicans, a lot of value there. Where else are we getting our value today?
I mean, Pelicans give us all the value we need, so that's pretty much where we're getting our value. We also have the Hawks with no Trae Young, so that's a good spot there. Curry's obviously out for the Warriors. Doesn't really matter too much on this slate where we have these Pelicans guys, and then we have, I think, Lowry's still out, so guys like Van Vliet, Siakam, very much in play.
Yep. Let's get into it. So first game, Golden State Warriors, Toronto Raptors. Golden State side, we have Green, probable, Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney, Eric Pascal, all probable tags. Steph Curry out again. Projected starters, Jordan Poole, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman. Priced up, like you said. So I guess the algorithms like him here. You don't like him. You've had enough of Wiseman. Kind of busted yesterday. So what was his percentage in the contest? I totally slipped my mind.
Like 25.
So
That
not
was in
super
cash.
jockey. But yeah, do you think he could be a good play today? Burnt a lot of people yesterday, so maybe he'll go a little under owned. But is he in a decent situation here to do well, maybe in tournaments?
Yeah, he is, but I mean, I can't play him. I don't think he's very good right now. Don't want to play him. Doesn't pass the eye test for me, so can't play him.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, did you go over the lineups yet?
Yeah, we just did Golden State. That's why I asked about Wiseman there.
Yeah, so I mean, so Steph is out, obviously. Jordan Poole is 4-2 on FanDuel. So that's a very cheap price tag. I mean, on any other slate where we didn't have this much value, we would lock that in. Like I think we project him for almost 30 points for 4.2K. So I mean, that's a ridiculous projection. Ridiculous point per dollar, but he's not landing in my lineups right now just because we have so much value here. But he's a really good play. I like him a lot in tournaments. If you land there in cash games instead of someone like Bledsoe, I'm fine with that as well. Obviously, no Steph Curry, so he got the bump before when Steph was out for the past week. He was playing very well, so I do like Jordan Poole. He's going to be my favorite Golden State Warrior here today. Wiggins always in play as well when Curry misses games. Oubre, I just think they're a little expensive. Like Wiggins is around 7.5 on both sites. Oubre is around 6.5 on both sites. So I kind of prefer Oubre if you're spending up on this team. But I'll say my favorite guy here is Jordan Poole on FanDuel for 4.2K.
Got it. Let's go over Toronto. Let's see some questions. We can do that after that. So Toronto side, we have Pat McCaw out, Kyle Lowry out, Jalen Harris out, Paul Watson out, DeAndre Bembry probable, Stanley Johnson, Stanimal probable there as well. Projected starters, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Aaron Baines. Anybody on the Raptors we can take advantage of? You mentioned Lowry being out, so there's quite a bit of a bump. But in terms of, I mean, like we've seen the situation recently, Lowry being out. Are the prices fair for that, or are we not too interested in these Raptors with all the other value we have opened up? Maybe spend up for better players. What's the situation here?
Yeah, so I mean, FanDuel, they haven't changed anyone's prices in a long time for some reason. Fred VanVleet is still 7.4, so you have to play that. I mean, if you don't, you're probably going to lose money here. He's going to be like 100% owned in cash games, as he's been the last few days in this situation. The last few games, sorry. So, I mean, you got to play him there on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 8.2. Siakam is 7.8. So, same situation that we've been in the past few times that the Raptors have played. We play VanVleet on FanDuel, play Siakam on DK where he's cheaper. So those are my two core pieces here from the Raptors. I'm going to lock both of those guys in their respective sites, as I said. And then other than that, like if you want to play Siakam on FanDuel, Fred VanVleet on DraftKings, kind of do the opposite. You can do that. I think you'll get the lower owned guy, so definitely not a bad idea in tournaments. I also like OG quite a bit. He's been playing very well, looking very good, definitely passing the eye test. So I like him a lot in this matchup. 6.6 on FanDuel. I think that's a pretty appealing price tag. DK 6.8K. He has center eligibility there as well. So I mean, I like him there too. He's just been playing very well. So it's going to be those three guys for me.
The eye test is important now, hey?
Well, I mean, if we're watching guys like Wiseman, I mean, he's an eyesore.
Yeah, that's fair. What about Drummond, Chris, with the eye test?
I don't know. I like him, but I mean, he needs LeBron.
Yeah. Let's go over some questions quickly before we do this next game. Bavion says, thoughts on Robert Williams and Hayward. So we got Robert Williams in this game that we're just going to go over. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I love Robert Williams. 6'6" on FD, 6'7" on DraftKings. Obviously, I like him a little more on FanDuel, where you get 3 points for blocks and steals. That's how he gets a lot of his production. So, I mean, I like him a lot. If we didn't have Capella here, he would be an absolute lock at center, especially on FanDuel. But with Capella there, it's more of a decision. And then on DK, I like him there as well. But I'm just kind of spending up a little more at center with all the value that we have with the Pelicans at guard. So just the way that construction works today, I'm not really landing on him, but I love him in tournaments. Like he can easily go for 60 fantasy points if he gets like 3 steals, 3 blocks, double double. So the upside with him is crazy.
Okay. And then Cornelius says, thoughts on Kevin Herter as value tonight. Lots of solid value options tonight. What do you think of going to Kevin Herter, Chris?
Yes, I also want to answer the question about Gordon Hayward that we had from the last guy first. So he's 7K on FanDuel. I think that's a really good price tag. I like that one a lot. DraftKings 7.9. I think that's too expensive. He had the bad game last time out, so you might get lower ownership, but obviously that game blew out. But I do like Gordon Hayward a lot on FanDuel. And then Kevin Herter, yeah, he's obviously interesting. We've seen him have big games with Trae Young out last season. I think he went for like 51 game against Boston, if I remember correctly. He's kind of been falling out of the rotation sort of for the Hawks, but obviously with Trae Young out, he should have a bigger role here. But at the same time, like the guy I like more here is going to be Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think he's the guy that interests me the most with Trae Young out.
Yeah. We also have Danilo Gallinari out for the Hawks too, so
Yeah.
there's also that to consider. Vian Jones says, greetings guys, haven't cashed in the last 2 slates. Help me get back in the green. Let's do it, Chris. Let's go over this game. So we have the Houston Rockets, Boston Celtics playing each other. Houston side, Dante Exum out for them. John Wall questionable. Projected starters, John Wall, Kevin Porter Jr., Danwell House, Sean Tate, and Christian Wood. Anybody here that you like, Chris, or does it just depend a lot on what happens with John Wall, if he's in or not?
Yeah, so I mean, if John Wall plays, I don't want to play any of these guys. If John Wall's out, Kevin Porter becomes a great play on both sites. I think he's 6K still on FanDuel, 6.5 on DK, so he'll become a really good play. He only played 31 minutes last time, though, in the same situation, so that was kind of lower than I expected. I was probably expecting like 36 to 38, but only played 31, so that wasn't great. But, I mean, this price tag is still really low if John Wall ends up sitting. So we'll have to wait for that news. That's probably the only guy I'm interested in on the Rockets.
Okay. Other side here on Boston, we have Semi Ojeleye out, Tristan Thompson out, Romeo Langford out, and Robert Williams probable tag. Projected starters, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Robert Williams. I touched on Robert Williams already, Chris. Anybody else on the Celtics that you have interest in today?
Not really. I think he's my favorite Celtic. I already went over him enough, I think, but yeah, I like him a lot on FanDuel, 6.6 with the steal and block upside. DraftKings 6.7K. I think he's a really good option there as well. I'm not landing in my cash game builds right now, but I think in tournaments he's a really strong play, so I like him a lot there. And then these other guys, I don't know. I'm not too interested. They're just all healthy. They have Fournier now in the mix, so I mean, you never know. I like Robert Williams for his upside, so that's where I'll stay.
Okay. Let's load up the next game. Dallas Mavericks against the New York Knicks. Dallas side, we got JJ Redick out for them. Tyrell Terry out as well. Willie Cauley-Stein out. Projected starters, Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleba, Kristaps Porzingis. Did you see did you see Redick's podcast on his trade situation?
No.
He
What
was
did he
just
say?
saying, huh?
What did he say?
Who's the GM out in the New Orleans?
David Griffin, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He was just saying how like he was talking to him and something about like his family situation, his kids starting school or something. I think somewhere in New York or something. He wanted to be close to his kid, and like that was kind of agreed upon, but then went to Dallas instead. So he didn't expect the trade at all. If he would be traded, he'd be somewhere closer to like his kid. Obviously, hard to like see your family with the COVID restrictions and all that. So he's kind of upset about that. But I mean, it sounds like what you get in the NBA line of business there. So that's interesting. But yeah, who do you like here on the Mavs, Chris?
Yeah, I don't like anyone here from the Mavericks today. Pace down spot like crazy, lowest over under on the slate. I mean, we get the MSG game, so if you're into that narrative, Luca and MSG, you can go for that. But I don't know. I don't think I need anyone here.
Okay, let me just load this up on DK. Give me a sec. Nick's side, we have Norvel Pelly. Which one is it?
Yeah. Pell, I think.
Norvel Pell, probable tag there. RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, and Bullock, all questionable tags. Projected starters: Payton, Barrett, Bullock, Randall, and Nerlens Noel. A lot of questionable tags here, Chris, for the Knicks. Anything interesting if someone sits here, either of the three?
I have no idea. Like, if they're all out, like if RJ, Rose, and Bullock are out, then there's probably going to be some interest, but I doubt that all three of them are going to be out. That's the thing. So, I mean, I'm just going to pass on this game unless we get news that all of them are out. If one of them is out, I don't think it's going to bump anyone enough to surpass the value that we have elsewhere. So, I mean, I'm just going to stay away here.
Yeah, I mean, we also touched on that topic. Like, if there's already good value on the slate, new value, like new things open up. Just because the value is newer doesn't mean it's inherently a better play, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people know that, except for like it's trickier when situations like if a big player gets ruled out. That's when it's a tricky situation. But if someone like Derrick Rose and Reggie Bullock get ruled out, like it's people know that it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. Let's go into the next game. Royal Kings in the chat. What's up? So next up, we have the Timberwolves against the Grizzlies. Minnesota side, we have D'Lo out. I think he's coming back soon, or maybe soon. This month, it seems like, maybe in a week or two. He's still out, though. And then we have Josh Okogie, questionable tag over there. Projected starters: Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley, Ant-Man, Catman, and Jaden McDaniels. Anybody on the Wolves that we could play today or kind of stay away?
Yeah, so I was kind of mentioning I like Karl Anthony Towns on DraftKings where we have all this Pelicans value. Like we have James Johnson, Kyra Lewis, and Wesley Iwundu all around 3K. So that opens up a bunch of salary. So I do like spending up for Karl Anthony Towns over on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I just prefer Clint Capella for the discount there. But on DraftKings, really like Karl Anthony Towns here. I think he's 10.1K. Yeah, he's 10-1 here on DK. Been playing very well. Assist rate has been way up in his past, I don't know, like 5 games or so. Ever since he's been playing under Coach Finch, he's looked a lot better. So I do like Cat a lot here in this matchup. Minutes have been up as well, so everything looks good for Cat. I think he's a really solid play for 10.1K in cash games, in tournaments. I think he has a lot of upside. He has a really safe floor, so I like him a lot. On FanDuel, this price tag is 10.8, so it's much harder to get to. Like Capella is, I think, 7.8 there, maybe 8.1. So like almost 3K cheaper on FanDuel for Capella. So I'll definitely take the savings there. But on DraftKings, where it's like a 2K difference, I think going up to Cat makes sense. And then Anthony Edwards, always viable, just because he chucks. So I mean, I don't mind him. Definitely a tournament only play for me at that price tag. But most of my interest just comes from these two guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty huge game last time out. 40, 49, almost 50 points on FanDuel. That's kind of crazy. Other half of this game, Memphis, we have Justice Winslow out for them, Brandon Clark probable, and then Grayson Allen questionable. Projected starters: Ja Morant, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and Jonas Valanciunas. You actually seeing Ja Morant pretty high projected ownership here. Is he a viable cash play today at his price tag, Chris?
Yeah, he's just way too cheap on FanDuel. Like you got to play that price tag in this matchup against Minnesota. They're implied to score almost 120 points here, so Jamarat is going to be a huge part of that at 6.8K, just crazy low. I think he has a ton of upside here. He's probably one of my favorite plays on this slate. On DraftKings, he's 7.6K, so quite a big difference in terms of pricing. So he's not going to fit my cash game builds over on DK, but FanDuel for sure, I think. And then DraftKings, I think in tournaments, he's very viable just because of the upside that he brings. I think he could easily go for, I don't know, 55, 60 fantasy points here in this spot. So I love John Morant here today. And then Joe Val, he's a really good play, but the problem is he's center. Like we have Capella for a few hundred more there in a better position with a bunch of guys missing. So I prefer going up to Capella. Maybe if you're playing tournaments and you want to get off of a chalky Capella, you can pivot to Joe Val. I don't mind that. This is a really good matchup for him as well. So I think that's a decent tournament pivot there. But for the most part, my interest is going to come from Ja Morant.
Okay. Let's go over the next game. We have the Hornets against the Pacers. Charlotte side, we got Malik Monk out for them. Projected starters, Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and Bismack Biyombo. Had that question earlier on Hayward, Chris. Who do you like on the Charlotte side?
Yeah, so they got killed last night against Brooklyn. So I'm not too worried about any of the back-to-back factors because they all played limited minutes in the blowout. But yeah, Hayward is pretty much the only guy I'm interested in, and that's specific to FanDuel where he's 7K flat. I like him a lot as a cash game play over there. Tournaments as well, we've seen the upside with him, so he's going to be the guy I'm targeting from the Hornets. I don't think there's much else here for me today.
Anything on DK? Hayward's priced up a bit there, almost 1K more. Anything on DraftKings?
No, nothing on DK.
Okay. Indiana side, we have Sabonis, questionable tag, Jeremy Lamb, questionable tag, projected starters, Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Justin Holiday, Sabonis, and Miles Turner. This Sabonis news, Chris, is that quite important here for the slate today, or not too much? Seems like it could be pretty big if he doesn't play. What do you make of that questionable tag and the slate today?
Yeah, I think he's going to play. He said he was going to play, so I'm going to trust that over the questionable tag. I think he's more likely probable than questionable. But yeah, if he's out, we're going to have, I don't know, maybe some interest in someone like Miles Turner. I think he'll become more viable, but we have so much value here on this slate. It's not going to make a huge difference in my opinion. But like I said, I think he ends up playing, so I'm really not too interested in the Indiana Pacers here. Maybe you can play Sabonis just because he's questionable. We know the upside that he has, so maybe you can get reduced ownership on him, but it's not something that I would do here on this slate.
Yeah, people love those questionable tags over on FanDuel and DraftKings. They scare off a lot of people, I feel like.
Yeah.
So there's that as well, like you said. Next up, we have Atlanta Hawks against New Orleans Pelicans. Let's go over Atlanta first. So we have Chris Dunn out, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins out, Trae Young out, Gallinari out. And then projected starters, we have Lou Williams. I had to double check that because, yeah, is this his first game there, Chris?
No, he was playing last night.
Okay, got it. So we have Sweet Lou there, Kevin Huerter, Tony Snell, Solomon Hill, and Clint Capella, who we do like today. No Collins, no Trae, so someone's got to score over here. Aside from Capella, Chris, is there anyone else that we like here? We had some talk about Kevin Huerter, had some talk about Bogey. What do you make of the Hawks squad today?
Yeah, so for me, it's going to be two guys who are viable in cash games, Bogey and Capella. I think both of them are more viable on FanDuel here with the pricing. Like they're really good plays on DK too, but I just don't think you need them in cash games because you have these Pelicans guys. You can play more than 4 on DK, so I like doing that. So for that reason, they're better FanDuel plays in my opinion. I'll start with Capella, 7.8 on FanDuel, I think 8.1K on DraftKings. So, I mean, it's a really good price tag there on both sites in this matchup against the Pelicans that we always like to target. I think Trae Young being out actually probably hurts Capella more than it helps him, just because he draws in so much of the defense. But with John Collins out, really good spot here for Capella. So that's the reason I like him a lot. And then Bogey, no Hunter, no Gallo. no Reddish as well. So it's pretty much Bogey and Herder on the wing in terms of guys who actually handle the ball. Like they have Solomon Hill, they have Tony Snell, but those guys are like 5% usage guys that don't touch the ball much on offense. So it's Bogey and Herder who I'm interested in on the wing here. Like I was saying earlier, I like Bogey a lot. He's my preferred guy here, 5.5K on FanDuel, 5.7 on DraftKings. So it's a good price tag for him. I like him a lot in cash games. I think if you're playing tournaments, though, you can go to Kevin Herder just because he's going to be the lower owned wing guy there. 5K on FanDuel, 4.5 on DK. So the DK price is very cheap. I actually like that a lot in tournaments. And then Lou Will, he's also there. Like if he ends up starting, like you said, he's projected to start, but we don't know that for sure. They could start Goodwin. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see on who they start. But I think Lou Will is obviously a very good tournament play as well. We know the upside that he always has. Like he could go for 40, 50 here if he ends up playing 35 minutes. So I do like Lou Will quite a bit. I'm pretty interested in him.
Yeah. If we just went over the guys here on Atlanta, Chris, like main guys here, we know Capella, Bogey, Herder, and then I think it's like Lou Will, and then pretty sharp drop off after that, right, with their guys. Like anybody other than those guys, you could see being in like a winning tournament lineup, or is it just like kind of a long shot there with someone like, I don't know, Snell, Hill, Goodwin, Mays, Okongwu, Knight?
I mean, if they're hitting their shots, that's pretty much the only way for them to get there. Like they're all like guys that space out the floor, only catch and shoot. So that's why I don't like them much. If I'm playing these guys, it's going to be these top four guys that we have here: Lou Will, Herder, Bogey, and Capella. Maybe Goodwin if he ends up starting.
Just guys who handle the ball more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he started a few games last year when he was the backup point guard. So I think they do trust him. New coach now, so maybe not. Maybe we'll have to see how they play it out first. But yeah, for the most part, I'll stick with the guys that have the ball in their hands more.
Got it. Let's go over the value squad here. New Orleans Pelicans. So we have a lot of main big guys out for them. So Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, BI, Zion all out. I think there's a note here for Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas. Wow. He signed a 10-day contract there. The small Isaiah Thomas. Wow. That's crazy. Is he playing today?
No, Sunday.
Got it. That's crazy. Do you think he'll be a bit better?
I have no idea.
Yeah. He was so good on Boston. Like he had like his fourth quarters were really, really fun to watch over there. Yeah. But yeah, on the Pelican side, Chris, projected starters, we have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Bledsoe, our cover boy, Wes Wandu, Johnson, and Adams. Who do we like here on the Pelicans? And yeah, like this is obviously where all the value is. So let's get into that first. Like, who do you like here?
So I mean, I like everyone here. Like mostly probably the guys like the guards and the wings here, because Lonzo, Ingram, Zion, they're all out here. So I mean, I'll start with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's a free square again on both sites, around 6K. So you got to play him. If you don't play him, I mean, maybe in tournaments you're not going to play him, but I still would. Like he's just in way too good of a spot here. Bledsoe as well, 5.3 on DK, 5.2 on FanDuel. Really good option here. I mean, you got to play him as well in this spot. James Johnson got the start last time, so I mean, still the minimum on both sites. Got to play him as well. So yeah, those three guys are like the core Pelicans, and then there's a few other ones that are more interesting on DK, who are around the minimum price. So I'll start with Kyra Lewis, 3.7K. I played him yesterday. He didn't shoot very well, but he still got there. Still got 25, I think, maybe 26 fantasy points. So I think this 3.7K price tag for Kyra Lewis is interesting on DraftKings. We have to remember that Josh Hart is also out today. He played last night. So it will open up some more minutes for someone like James Johnson, who I think only played 27 last night. And also Wes Wandu here, 3K on DraftKings. No Josh Hart will open up his minutes as well, so I like him a lot for value there. on DK. So, I mean, all these guys are viable. I think the three that you have to play are Bledsoe, Alexander Walker, and James Johnson. And then if you want to play or if you kind of fit in any of these other guys, I have no problems with them. I like them all here.
Yeah, someone like Adams though, his price tag is that seems like his normal price tag, even when all the other guys are in, pretty much, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I like him a lot here as well. Like 5K on FanDuel, 5.2 I think on DK. He's going to be matched up there against Capella, so they're going to need his body. Yeah, I like Adams a lot as well. Like not going to be in my core of Pelicans, but he's another guy. Like if you land on him as a last piece, he's right there.
Yeah. One sec. So wait, we have Hernan Gomez here. Willie, what do you think of him?
I mean, you could play him there as well. I think he's kind of been falling out of the rotation. Yeah, he didn't play yesterday. They kind of played Jackson Hayes as the backup center, so I mean, probably can't play Hernan Gomez just because Hayes is the backup center now. But yeah, you can play any of the guards, any of the wings. Probably wouldn't play the bigs because they're still healthy there. But yeah, that's what I like.
Got it. And then just a question for tournaments: like how many Pelicans would you be comfortable having in tournament lineups? Not cash. Like, what would you say a good number is there? Is it same as cash? Like, try to jam in as many as you can just because the value is so good? Or would you maybe limit a little bit? I don't think you'd want to limit everything from the Pelicans. There's just too much good value to pass up on. But what do you think of that in tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, you can play 4 on FanDuel, 6 on DraftKings. I think anything's viable. You can fade them. What I would do, I would just play them, but you can fade them if you want to fade them. You'll become different instantly by doing that. It's not something I would do, like I said, but I mean, it really depends on your strategy. If it was me, I would just play them.
Got it. Next up, we have Chicago Bulls against the Utah Jazz. Chicago side, Kobe White, questionable. Zach LaVine, questionable. Garrett Temple out for them. Projected starters, Tom Satoransky, Zach LaVine, Pat Williams, Thad Young, and Nikola Vucevic. This questionable tag, Chris, on LaVine. Any insight there? You had some insight on the other questionable tag with, who was it? It was... Who'd you have?
Sabonis.
Hmm? Sabonis, yeah. So any insight on LaVine's questionable tag here?
I mean, I think they probably sit him again here. He said he has a bad ankle. They sat him last time out. Yeah, but that's news that we have to watch out for. But it's not news that's going to change anything, even if he's out. Like these Pelicans are still much better value plays than someone like Sato, who would become a better play if LaVine was out. So I mean, I'm really not interested in the Bulls here. I think they're sneaky for tournaments if they can keep this game close. But this is the highest spread on the slate at 12.5. So it's not a place that I would target players from.
Yeah. Yeah, and also one of the lower scoring teams here in terms of team total on the Chicago side. Let's go over the other half then. Utah, we have Mitchell, probable. Joe Ingles, probable. Juwan Morgan, out for them. Projected starters, Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. Anybody on the Jazz, Chris?
Not really. Like this just isn't really a game that I want to target on this slate. Like I was saying with the Bulls guys, you can play them in tournaments. You'll get them low owned. Maybe like Gobert, he's been playing very well. I think he's 7.9 on DK, so that's a pretty good price tag. Maybe a pivot off of someone like Capella over there. I mean, I like the matchup here for him as well. I think he went for like 70 last time against the Bulls. That was before they got Vucevic. Or sorry, he went for 60, but yeah, that was before they got Vucevic. But yeah, that's probably the only guy here. Like, I just don't think I need to go to the Jazz guys on this slate.
Yeah, it looks like he got 41 last time he played Vucevic. Did they play again? Yeah, I see 41.
Yeah, but I mean, Orlando's like the slowest matchup, so it's hard to judge it that way.
Yeah, fair. Next up, let's go over this game. So we have the LA Lakers, Sacramento Kings facing each other. Lakers side, Drummond out with his toe. I think he lost his toe during the game. Uh, didn't see it happen, but I mean, I saw him struggling with it. Wes Matthews, questionable tag as well. Projected starter Schroeder, Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Markieff Morris, and Marc Gasol. Yeah, kind of bummed out that we're not seeing Drummond here, but I think he wants to be back in like a day or two. Any interest in the Lakers guys, Chris?
Yeah, I have some interest here. Like Kuzma is interesting. I think he's probably my favorite Laker. 7-2 on DK, 7-2 on FanDuel as well. I think he's sneaky in tournaments. We like the matchup here a lot against the Sacramento Kings. So I mean, I think he's probably the guy that I like the most from the Lakers. I think Harrell's also viable with Drummond out here. So I mean, like if you land on these guys as a last piece, I'm fine with it. Just because of the matchup. Like usually I don't like to target the Lakers much, but this is one of the best matchups that we have. I think Kuzma could have a big game here for his price tag, so he's probably my favorite Laker. Schroeder a little too expensive for me. 8K on FanDuel. I think on DraftKings he's 7-1, so that's a better price tag there if you want to go to him. But I don't think there's anything here in cash games. I think it's more tournament options. And yeah, I think Kuzma's my favorite.
Sacramento side, we got Hassan Whiteside, questionable tag, projected starters Fox, Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, and Sean Holmes. Anybody on the Kings side, Chris?
Not really. It's a pretty big pace down spot here for them. Fox is always viable, Holmes is always viable, but on this slate, I don't think we need them. Halliburton's probably my favorite guy from the Kings here. If you're counting in or factoring in price, I like him on FanDuel 5-6. I think on DraftKings he's 6K, so a little more expensive, but I still like that price tag. But yeah, he's probably my favorite guy here on the Kings. But Fox and Holmes, they're always viable as well.
Yeah, Halliburton, we've seen flashes of his upside. Did the situation change a bit since he came back from his injury, or like what's going on with him in your eyes?
Yeah, so they got DeLon Wright, which is pretty bad for them, for those guards. So that's what I don't like. But I mean, Halliburton's still a really good player. He has a lot of upside with his steals. If his shot is falling, he can hit a ceiling for sure. So that's why I like him.
Yeah. Cornelius is asking if you would consider fading Giannis and playing Holiday, or play both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I like that game a lot. That's my favorite game on this entire slate, especially in tournaments. But yeah, if you want to fade Giannis, kind of hope he has another down game and hope that Holiday is the guy as he's been the last few games. Like, you can do that. I don't think you need to play them together. If you're doing that, you can just fade Giannis because everyone's going to be on him. Get on to Drew, and then if Drew is playing like he has been playing, then I mean, you're ahead of almost probably 40% of the field who has Giannis.
Let's go into this next game, Chris. Second last game here of the slate. Oklahoma City Thunder against the Phoenix Suns. OKC side got Mike Muscala out, Darius Baisley out, LeGuence Dort out, Ty Jerome out, and then we have Alexei Pokusevski back in. Projected starters: Theo Maledon, Svi Mihailuk, Alexei Pokusevski, Isaiah Roby, and Moses Brown. Interesting squad there. Ever since I guess they started resting Shea. Anybody here, Chris, that you would consider viable in cash or tournaments?
No, it's a situation where you have a bunch of G leaguers here, and you just don't know who's going to get the minutes. So I mean, it's a stay away spot for me here. Like, if I don't know, it's similar to the Pelicans, but they're kind of all priced up now. Like, these guys were all cheap before, and we've had interest in them when SGA was missing. Baisley, Horford, they were all missing before, and these guys were all cheap. But now they're kind of priced up. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't love anyone here. Maybe Svi Mihailuk on FanDuel, 3.7K. Don't mind that price tag. He had the big game last time. On DraftKings, he's 5-2, so I think that's a little too expensive. But yeah, like I said, I don't think we need to go to any of these guys here today.
Would you call Moses Brown a G leaguer?
No, he's a really good player. He's just, I don't know. This is a tough matchup. Like, I always seem to play Moses Brown, but he's priced up a little bit. This is the highest spread actually, not the other game that I said was the highest. This one's at 13.5. So I mean, tough matchup against Phoenix, which I don't love. So yeah, I don't think I need Moses Brown here.
All right, and then one more question for tournaments. Could you see any of these guys having like a huge ceiling game on the Oklahoma City side, Chris? Everyone's kind of projected like below value other than Svi. But anybody here that you feel like could go for maybe like a ceiling game? Which players here could kind of do that?
Yeah, so I would say like Roby, Maladone, Svi, probably those three. Svi went 9x last time on FanDuel. He's still the cheapest guy here on the Thunder. So I mean, I like him on FanDuel. He's the guy that I would pick there for tournaments. On DraftKings, maybe like I don't know. I don't like any of these price tags on DraftKings, so I wouldn't do it on DK. But I think on FanDuel, Svi is there.
Got it. Got Din in here, late for class. Tardy yet again. He says Jaden McDaniels getting any love, Chris? Went over Minnesota already, but what do you make of McDaniels there?
Yeah, he's fine. He's kind of priced up now. Like we had interest in him when he was high 3Ks. Now he's high 4Ks. He's been playing very well. Like, I mean, if he gets the stocks, he's a very good defender. If he gets the stocks today, he could absolutely crush this price tag. So I don't hate it. It's hard to do it when we have all this Pelicans value. That's the only problem. But if you want to do it in tournaments as a value play, that's somewhere I don't mind it.
Yeah. Phoenix side, we have Nader out, Frank Kaminsky out, and then Torrey Craig, questionable tag. Projected starters: Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Bridges, Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton. Anybody on the Sun side, Chris, for you?
No, there's no one here. Like I think this game's gonna blow out. Suns play a bunch of guys, so yeah, I don't want to play anyone here.
Okay. Let me load up this last game of the slate. We have the Milwaukee Bucks, Portland Trailblazers. Milwaukee side, PG Tucker out for them. Bobby Portis, questionable. Jeff Teague, questionable. And then Kurucs, probable. Projected starters, Drew Holiday, DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brooke Lopez. Yeah, who do you like there, Chris, on the Bucks?
Yeah, so Giannis is my favorite guy here on both sites. He's my favorite spend up. 11K on FanDuel, 10.9 on DK. He's very easy to get to today with this Pelicans value. So this game has the highest over-under by 10 points. It's sitting at 240 right now. Tight spread at 3, so it's going to be Giannis for me in cash games. We got the question about Drew. I think he's interesting in tournaments. He's been playing very well recently. Got 60 last game, 50 the game before, but he's been getting like 5 stocks. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but he's always been a really good stocks guy. So I do like Drew quite a bit, more of a tournament play. But if I'm playing cash games, it's just going to be Giannis here, just because he does everything for them. I'm not really going to care about the down games that he's had in the past few games, but I'm just going to buy into the talent here, into the good matchup. So yeah, it's Giannis here for me.
Passes the eye test, unlike Wiseman.
Yeah.
Also, like Anunoby. Anunoby passes your eye test as well. Portland side, we have Sarah Little out for them. Projected starters: Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, Norm Powell, Rocco, and Yusuf Nurkic. Anybody on the Blazers, Chris, that you like today?
Yeah. So this team, we don't get any of them in cash games here today, but I mean they're very interesting. Like I said, this is the highest over/under game by far. It has a tight spread, so if you're playing Giannis, like you can play Dame, you can play CJ on the other side, and instantly you're different. Just because I don't think these guys are going to be very popular, just because guard is loaded with the Pelicans guys. So yeah, I mean, I like them a lot in tournaments. If I had to pick one, I would say Dame on FanDuel where he's 9.2K, and then on DraftKings I would say CJ where he's 8.2K. I think they're really good tournament options. Can't do it in cash games like I said on this slate, but they're in a really good spot. Like we've seen the upside with both of these guys. Rocco as well. He gets a ton of stocks. 6.1K on DraftKings is an interesting price tag. FanDuel is 7-5, so I mean you can't play that. But yeah, if I'm playing these guys, it's gonna be the guards here with either Dame or CJ.
Got it. Okay, let's get into our three key plays here for the day. Starting with your overall play of the day, safest play, cash, tournaments, all formats. Who's the guy there today?
I'll go with Giannis here on both sides.
Giannis. Okay, and then value play on FanDuel. Who do you have?
Value, it's probably going to be one of these Pelicans. I'll go with James Johnson for 3-5.
Okay, let's do that. And then tournament play on FanDuel. I think we had quite a bit of tournament GPP discussions today. A few interesting situations with all these games, all these guys missing. Which one is your favorite one? And then, which one's your favorite one first up?
Yeah, I'll go with a more chalky option here today, but I really like him. I think he has a ton of upside. Room for a ceiling game for sure. Going up against the Timberwolves, Ja Morant for 6-8.
Yep. And then if you were to go for a crazier one, like a, I don't know, second tier, third tier tournament pick, like a super risky one with a disclaimer on risky, who would that be today?
So I won't go super risky. I'll just go with the lower owned guy. I'll go with Kyle Kuzma, 7.2K. I think if we didn't have Ja here, I would say Kyle Kuzma. I think small forward is kind of a position that's up in the air. So if you play him there, you're not really, I don't know, you're not differentiating too much from a chalk build, but you're getting off of Hayward, who's 7K. You get Kuzma for 200 more. So I mean, he has a ton of upside. He went for 45 last time against the Kings in the same situation with no LeBron, no AD. So yeah, I'll say Kuzma.
That's a good one. DraftKings over there. Who's your overall play?
Same thing as FanDuel with Giannis.
Okay, and then value play. Who do you have there?
Same thing, James Johnson, 3K.
Okay, and then let's do the same thing here today, just with all this news we have. First up, just like your regular favorite tournament play for today. Who do you have there?
Yeah, so I don't have one here on DraftKings. I said Ja on FanDuel just because he's popping a lot in cash games as well, or in optimal teams as well. So I'll just go with one here on DraftKings. I'll go with Kuzma here, 7.2K, just like FanDuel.
Okay. Let's go through core plays, build some lineups here. So let's see. You got Giannis today. You have Fred VanVleet, no Lowry there, Walker, Bledsoe, Johnson, all that Pelican value. Maybe just touch on quickly, summarize why these are all cores today, what you like about them.
Yeah, so I'll start with the spend up. Giannis, just very easy to get to in that elite game environment. We don't have other studs. I mean, we do have some other studs, like we have Luka, but no one's going to play Luka. We have Cat. I don't think we need Cat here, so I like Giannis the most as my spend up. I've been on him a ton this year, so I like him here as well. And then these Pelicans guys, these are the three main guys that I think benefit the most in the current situation. And then VanVleet here, just way too cheap without Lowry.
Yeah. Okay, which ones do you want to go over? So seeing some Clint, Robert Williams, so that's interesting. Top two have different centers.
Yeah, just the first two.
Okay, give me a sec.
Yeah, so we have Ja and Bledsoe here at point guard, who I think are going to be pretty chalky. Maybe people won't play Ja. Maybe they'll play Jordan Poole instead. But I think Ja is right here. I think we have a ton of value that makes it easy to fit him. Shooting guard, pretty chalky duo. This is going to be probably just like yesterday. We had the 95 percenters in cash games with Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think it's going to be a similar situation here on FanDuel with VanVleet and Alexander Walker. So I think you got to play them. Gordon Hayward, 7K. Really like that price tag for him. And then we have Giannis and James Johnson, who I think are going to be the chalk power forward duo. And then we have this 2v2, Bogdan and Clint versus OG and Robert Williams. I think the first team is just much better. We get to take advantage of the injuries with Trae Young, with Bogdanovich, and then John Collins' injury with Clint Capella. So definitely like the first side more in cash games. I think it's going to be very chalky, just like it's been the last few days. But I think this is the right team.
Yep. I'm with you on preferring the first one with the Atlanta Hawks with the Hawks guys. DK, let me load up your cores there. So you got all the same guys. Addition of Siakam here. You kind of touched on that. You said pricing over on FanDuel is better for Van Fleet. On DraftKings, better for Siakam. Is that
Yeah.
just
So
is that what it is?
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the only difference here. Van Vliet is 8-2 on DraftKings. Siakam is 7-8. So Siakam is the guy I want here, and he's easy to fit with this Pelicans value. So yeah, we can take a look at the first two. I think there's also a 2v2. So yeah, we have Bledsoe, Alexander Walker, Johnson, Siakam, who are all in the core. We have Kyra Lewis here, 3.7K. Played him yesterday. He's pretty active, so I like playing him. And then we have Giannis, just an easy spend up today on this slate. And then we have the 2v2, Cat and Iwundu versus Gobert and Adams. Yeah, I just like the first side a little more. I think Iwundu could easily match Adams. Adams isn't too aggressive, isn't too active. I don't think he has a great situation to take advantage of all the injuries that they have. They still have Jackson Hayes healthy, Hernan Gomez, but Iwundu on the other hand, he has a bunch of guys out: Josh Hart, Ingram, Zion. So all the wing guys. He's a wing player, so I like playing him for 3K. And then we get Cat 10.1K. I always like the stars and scrubs side of the 2v2, so definitely like the first side here.
Yeah, we did touch on the Pelicans a bit. Like I did ask you about Adams. His price tag seems to be the same. You said situation more or less the same for Adams with all those guys out. So I prefer clearly the first one for me as well. Plus I like Cat's upside any given night as well. We got a question, Chris. Let's go over it. Cornelius says, do you guys have some time to go over the best settings for DFS Crunch Optimizer?
Yeah, sure. I mean, depends on, like, if you're playing cash games, you don't need to change any settings. You can just play the default settings. If you're playing tournaments, like, there's a ton of stuff you can play around with. So it's all in the sidebar on the bottom left. You just open that up, and then you can just look at all this stuff, like optimize your settings, just different things you can change to make your lineups different. Like if you're playing tournaments in, let's say, another sport where there's a goalie, where there's a pitcher, if you're playing tournaments, usually you want that setting to 0. If you're playing cash games, it doesn't really matter. Uniques, you could change that around. It just means that if you make it 2, you'll have 2 different players in each lineup. One is the default, obviously, and then min projection, pretty self-explanatory there. Max exposure. If you don't want to get like the chalk guys in 100% of your lineup, you could just slide this slider to like 60%. Just means that they'll cap out at 60. Randomness, I like that as well in tournaments. Usually set it around 10 to 30%, somewhere in that range, I think is a good place. And then you have all the stacking stuff as well that you can take a look at. If you like a certain team more than another, you can stack them. In tournaments, you almost always have to stack. In other sports, NBA, you don't have to at all. It's not a setting I use in NBA, but if you're playing MLB, you have to stack. And then, this players per team card.
New one.
You can you can quickly kind of adjust the minimum or maximum exposure to each team you'll have. Usually this is another card that I don't really touch at all. So mostly the stacking and the randomness and unique settings is what I play around with.
Yeah. I think let's just talk about this one, players per team. Interesting way you can use it. Say you wanted to fade like the first game, second game. Say there's some news, you could do that as well. So that's an easy way to do that if you want to kind of do that. Which situations would you like doing that in, Chris? Because we sometimes talk about that.
I mean, like, we have these, like, if you just want to, like, maybe just target the best game environments. So we have the Portland-Milwaukee game, which has the highest over-under on this slate. You can keep that one. Then you can get rid of all the crappy games. Like, you can get rid of Phoenix, OKC. You can get rid of Boston, Houston, New York, Dallas. So you can get rid of most of the games. Just key in on the ones that you like. Then you'll only get players from those teams. I think that could be an interesting strategy. Obviously, you won't get some of the good value guys. Like you wouldn't get, I don't know, Jordan Poole from the Warriors if you made them 0. But I still think it's interesting, like just targeting the best game environments. Maybe that can make you different just because you won't have the value plays from random games.
Yeah. And then another setting, just this one's pretty quick and easy. I like playing around with this one sometimes if I don't have too much time for a slate. That's the lineup ownership rules. So what this one does is it'll add in a player in every lineup who is, it'll add in however many players you specify in every lineup with whatever projected ownership you set it to or less. So if you have this, for example, set up here, one player, every lineup will have one player who's 10% ownership or less. You'll get different guys in there that you might not get by default. So you'll get like a Cat there. We have him at 7.65. You'll get a Sabonis in there. There's just a bunch of different guys. That's a quick setting you can do. I like using that one quite a bit. You can also stack it. So say you want to do something like you want to have like let's just say 3 guys who are under 15% and then like 1 guy under 10%. If you just do that, that'll be quite different already. You kind of touched on this one. Randomness, that's a good one for tournaments. Stay away from randomness though for cash. I don't think you never want to use randomness for cash at all. If you're playing cash, I feel like the best way is just to build like all of the lineups, and then if you want to differentiate, just kind of look at them because those are the top projected teams for a reason. Projections are very sharp. So for cash, look at the top lineups and see what you like. Maybe exclude a guy or lock in a guy if you don't see him. So I think that's one way of tinkering with cash lineups. I guess the other viable way for cash lineups would be also adjusting projected ownerships and seeing that. But in terms of cash lineups, I think you don't want to mess around with these settings. What do you think of that one, Chris?
Yeah, if you're playing cash lineups, like you just hit build, and then if you don't like a player, you can exclude them. If you want to play a certain guy that you're not getting, just lock them in, up their projection. But yeah, it's really as simple as that.
Yeah, and then another setting I've had success with, sometimes what I do is I'll just build like 150 lineups. Look at this player's card, which gives you a breakdown of the actual percentage of each player that you have. Also, it'll tell you how many players you have here. It's 25 unique players across 50 lineups. So you can see here, like we're getting Van Fleet 100%. Don't have him locked. Don't have anyone locked right now. So we got 100% Van Fleet, 100% Nikhil Alexander Walker, 100% James Johnson, 90% Giannis. And then we're getting like 40%, 30%, all these high percentages. So one thing you could do, there's just a lot of ways to do it, but say you want to get like a bunch of different guys, like you could lower this to 25, for example, max exposure for most players, or even let's just do it to 20. You could do 20. And then you can go look at this players thing here. So you're not going to get anyone above 20. So pretty much like the highest guy you would have is only 20, but you still might want like Van Fleet, Alexander Walker, James Johnson. So what you could actually do is you could like adjust their minimums, something like this, or whatever you'd want. And then you'd still end up with these guys. You can just set it to whatever. And then let me just build quickly. So I think right now we have 25 players. With this, might take a bit, but with this setting here, you should get a lot more different players if you want that for tournaments. Another good way of getting more different players in your lineups is the randomness, in addition to increasing the uniques count to maybe 2 or 3, whatever you want to do. But I think the best way to kind of figure out what you like, what you're comfortable with, is just to kind of have like a iterative process where you build maybe the default lineups first, see what happens, adjust the setting, 1 or 2 settings, build again, see what happens, adjust another setting, build again, see what happens. And that's the way I like to do it. So yeah, you can see here with that, we're actually still getting, I think when we set like the minimum here and it's above the threshold of this 20% limit that we set here. It just means that these players they'll ignore that rule. So these guys were all 100% before, so that's why they're still 100%. But if you want, you could also limit them here. You could put like 60 to 70%, for example. You could also, just a lot of ways, you could also like find all these guys here, for example, Fred, Akil. I'm not going to build just because it'll take a while, but if you don't want them at 100%, for example, you could also put the randomness for each of those players. So you could, if you put like Van Fleet to 25 and Akil 25, you'll still get them above whatever we have, like Fred 60 here, but you might not get him 100 because he could go down 25 or so percent. So there's a few ways to do it. But yeah, as you can see here, I think first time we built it without the 20% rule here, we only had 25 different players. Now we have 42, so almost double just with that change. Like if you cranked up the uniques, if you put like 2, put up the randomness to like 15, you'd get even more people in there. So it just depends on your strategy. Really depends on your strategy. Some nights, like, it's enough if you just like have a good play that you like, one different play, lock him in. On FanDuel, it could be like a center, just something like that, like a big change like that. That's enough. Like, you don't have to get too crazy, but you can also get quite crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do it. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to touch on that, Chris?
No, I think we got it all.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for the slate that you want to say before we wrap it up? Any news to watch out for? Big news here?
Like, there's Sabonis, questionable, Levine, John Wall. John Wall is probably the biggest one, the biggest name there, just because Kevin Porter will become in play. If Sabonis is out, Turner will become in play. So yeah, I think those are the biggest names.
Got it. Let's do the housekeeping here. If you guys have not tried out our optimizer, dfscrunch.com, we've been using it throughout this show here, every slate. So that's what we use to go over the slate. We've got our projected fantasy points. We've got our ownerships. We've got a lot of settings here for tournaments. Solid cash starting point every night. Solid tournament starting point every night with the projections. We got some single slates we'll go over, but let me just do this first. So you can try it out for free, absolutely free, dfscrunch.com. Link is also in the description of this video. If you sign up, you're a first-time member, you'll get 3 days for free. So you can cancel anytime before then. You won't be charged until after the 3rd day. So do encourage everyone to try it out. No risk at all. You get full access to everything during that trial. You'll get our Discord. So that's a good place to be, good place to ask questions after hours, after the show. You'll get all the different sports that we have during that trial. What do we have now? We've got MLB just started. We've got NHL still going on. NBA still going on. Anything else? We had college basketball before.
Still have college basketball.
Yeah. And then what else do we have? We got esports. We've got UFC, mixed martial arts this Saturday, I'm guessing. So there's a lot of stuff. And then for each sport, there's also a bunch of slates. So we'll go over a slate here. We had a request from Royal King to do that. So we'll do that. Yeah, you get access to all that during the trial. So check that out. And then, yeah, I hit build here with these other settings with 2 uniques. And then I didn't adjust the randomness, but you get slightly more players here. I think 44, but not a huge difference because I think the 20% limitation was already quite a big one there. But yeah, lots of ways to go about it. Interesting to see, even with all these settings, we're still getting these cash plays that Chris, I think these are the cash ones we went over, right, Chris?
Which ones?
I think number 11, number 6 here.
Yeah, because I mean, you put a minimum on the. Wait, what settings did you change? Uniques, randomness.
Yeah, we got 2 uniques per team. We have 20% max exposure here, and then we also have minimum percentages for 3 guys here.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it'll still come up with some of the same teams because those teams project well, but yeah.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of ways to go about it. Let's do this other slate here quickly. One other thing I'll say, actually, I don't know how many people know about this, but all these settings that you adjust here, say you're doing cash and also tournaments, and you want to save these settings, we do have profiles here. So you can actually switch between profiles. You can create new profiles. And then all these settings that you have here will actually save to the profile automatically. So if you want to maybe have 2 different tournament profiles or narratives that you want to create, you can do that and save it to a specific profile. So you can see here, if we go to profile 1, we didn't use profile 1 at all today. All the settings go back to default. All the minimums go back to default. So the player pool settings that you have for min, max, if you adjust projected fantasy points, all that stuff will save to that profile. So it's quite easy to make a few different builds and sort of save that. So you can create new ones here. All get saved. So there's quite a lot of ways you can go about it. Pretty fun. But let's quickly go over this single. Let's go over one single slate today, Chris. Which one do you want to do?
Any of them.
Late night or the Dallas, New York?
Let's do the latest one. Is that the latest one? There's no single game slate at that time?
Maybe we got to check. Maybe we're not getting the right data from FanDuel, but this is what we have so far here. I'm also surprised, actually. Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, all the settings here go back to default when you switch slate types because they're different. So there's also that. But yeah, what do you see here, Chris, for this after hours slate? How many games do we have here? 3 games here. So yeah, what do you see?
Yeah, so looks like a 2v2. Small forward, shooting guard 1, Halliburton and DiVincenzo with center as well, Ayton, Harrell. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I see. Like, I think the first team is really good. I like the second one as well. If I had to pick, I would go with the first one. I like Halliburton more than Dante. That's why. But yeah, I mean, all these teams are solid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, projections are super sharp, so very solid always. I think that's it, though. We'll be in the Discord, guys, so if you have more questions, come hang out there, ask them there. So we'll be updating Discord if there's any slate breaking news, things like that. Projections, ownerships, all those things will continue to update automatically in our tool here, so you don't have to worry about that as well. And then, yeah, I think that's it, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. One last thing, actually, make sure to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the content today. Helps us a lot to grow our channel, so we do appreciate that. And then also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. Hit the bell button and all. Same format here every day, weekends, holidays, every day there's an NBA slate. We'll do the show here 2.5 hours before main slate. So make sure you're subscribed if you enjoyed the content here. I think that's it, guys. Appreciate everyone coming in here. Appreciate all the questions. Be back tomorrow. Good luck today, guys, and see you all then.